All right, all right, all right. That was Matthew McGonaghy's first three words said on the big screen in Dazed and Confused, I believe. But anyway, if yesterday's theme was "Can't You Hear Me Knocking" by the Rolling Stones, I would have to say today is "I Feel Fine" by the Beatles. And the reason why is because you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq was able to take out this old high of 13,864 made on June 16th. And so that makes me more bullish. The more highs that it takes out, the more bullish I become. And I just wanted to point out one thing is that the index, I say, the correction is healthy, a pullback is healthy, embrace the pullbacks. And if you can see the channel here, it was bumping up against its upper channel line here. And then it pulled back into the channel, which I believe is healthy. You can just put this lower channel here, however way you want. I'm more concerned with the upper channel. But it kind of bumped up its head up near the upper channel line, then pulled back within it, and now went sideways since June 16th, and now it gapped up this morning and made a new high. So the higher the highs, the more bullish I become. Now people are talking about crazy talk about, the all-time high of 16,212. Let's just take one high at a time. And now I'm looking at 14,646. Okay, and that will be a while before we get there. But you can see this is just looking like a big cup shape base. And I want to take a look at some of the leading stocks and why this market's going higher. And it's not going higher just because of the Divine Nine or the Elite Eight or the Super Seven. It's a really broad-based rally. I'm going to get to some of that. There's just so many stocks jumping off. I am not going to be able to get to all of them because it's just too many are doing well. But I'm going to start with Meta because they started Threads here, but you can see that it broke out, gapped higher on earnings, consolidated, and it's just been trading along its moving average. This is a thing of beauty for a trend trader. It gapped higher today, and the Threads app is not hurting this stock at all. They're going to report earnings here, and we're going to hear, this is July 26th. And earnings are going to be really important, and we're going to want to know, how AI is playing into the budgets of these big companies. And Apple is another one that just pulled back. It's kind of like the index, right? Just kind of pulled back to moving average, and now looks like it wants to trade higher. It did make an all-time high, unlike the index, but Apple is definitely a proxy for the Nasdaq. NVIDIA is another one. They had news today with SoftBank, and you can see after hours it's taken out that 439.90 here, and it was very close during the session today. So that looks good as well. And I want to get to, of course, Tesla. They report earnings on July 19th. This one just pulled back to its 10 EMA and then went higher. So embrace the pullbacks, folks. I mean, we're in a strong uptrend. When they pull back, these are opportunities. You've heard buy the dip, and I don't want to go crazy, but yeah, the pullbacks are working. Buying the pullbacks are working. I wanted to get to a couple of sectors here. I don't want to just jump off to the obvious, but there's just a lot of groups that are doing well. The financials, and now the oil and gas. This is Chevron. Looks like it's making a bottom and starting to pop higher. Occidental, Warren Buffett's favorite stock these days. Looks like it formed a bottom, and now it's trending higher. In Devon, which is oil and gas exploration stock. Well, if it doesn't want to go to Devon, that's okay. It looks very similar to there you go, Oxy, where it just made a base, and now it's made this low, and now it's going higher. But JP Morgan, the financials, these stocks are going to be reporting here. This one on Wednesday, Friday the 14th, and this one's showing strength. Even the Wells Fargo financials are looking good. The truckers, I mentioned the truckers yesterday. SAIA making new highs. And there's just a lot of areas that are doing well. The retail, I mentioned Boot yesterday, and this one's, I was hoping they would kind of trade sideways there around 88, but maybe to do it around 90 and just kind of trade sideways and give us a chance to get in. Floor and Decor is another one that was set up in this base, and it's just blasted higher. I mean, this is real strength here, folks. And Domino's Pizza, they announced a deal with Uber apps today. They're going to display their menus on Uber. So that one exploded 11% higher today. So that stock looks good as well. I'm going to get out of the retail and go to the semiconductors. Not only NVIDIA is not the only one making, nearer new highs. This is on semiconductor making a new high. MCHP, this one was on our watch list, is on our ready list, and had a nice day today, making new highs. New highs are good. Those are very bullish. AEHR, this stock, they report earnings tomorrow after the close. So this one's kind of, for this stock, it's trading kind of tight right around the 21. And that looks pretty good to me. I want to just get to a couple of random stocks here. In the first, okay, let's go to the software, because Microsoft, they announced their cybersecurity expansion of their offerings today. And it only went up 1.4%, but what it did is it knocked down a lot of software names, including Palo Alto Networks, which sliced its 21. That's an inverted hammer candle. The trade with Palo Alto, I was talking to some people, we had it 190, then again at 200, then the standard buy point there was a 207, I believe. And so the trade was like 207 to 250, and then you get in a profit-taking zone. That's what you're supposed to do, right? A 20% move. And then now, you don't take profits and boom, you just lost half of them, So for me, that's just move on and, let it form a base, let this thing form a base. And they're going to report earnings next month. And, that's a great trade. And also CrowdStrike got zapped pretty good by this, 3%. By the Microsoft news. Zscaler took a hit today as well, down 6.5%. We had this on our watch list and made a nice move up, and now it's right back to near its buy point. So that's why sometimes it's wise to take profits. Datadog, though, is one stock in the software group that didn't get hit. This one looks good to me. I'm going to talk about this a little more later on. I really like this setup here. Big correction since November of 2021. Big base, and now it's just kind of trading sideways. Yeah, it did break out a little bit today, but it's still near a buy point. So Datadog looks good. A couple of just random stocks to take a random walk here. This is Sanmina, and you can see the clearly defined double bottom base here, where it pulls back, runs up a little bit, sells off hard. And, I hopefully at that point, all the sellers are gone, and now it's forming the right side of its base. And this looks good to me, the double bottom, and earnings are due on July 31st. And they've been, since Yuri's been back, they've been very steady and very solid with their earnings and sales growth. He runs a tight ship there at Sanmina, but sometimes stocks just sell off. Speaking of which is Crocs. Crocs reported in April, and they, raised, they beat the second quarter. Yeah, second quarter. No, they beat the first quarter, and then they lowered second quarter guidance, but they raised full year guidance. But, after a move from whatever it was, 46 to 150, it's time to take profits. So it just sold off. It's been in the correction for about 12 weeks. We noticed it a couple times here, floundering around the bottom here at the 200 simple moving average. And now it's come off from 104 up to 126. So it's a nice move, just forming the right side of a base. I like it above that 122.82 level. And I think, even if it goes back to 150, I still think this is a cheap stock. They're going to report earnings here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see, if they've been, if the consumer's been slowing, or they're still buying Crocs. INMD, elective surgeries are up. We've heard from United Health, and they've been saying that, there's been a lot more elective surgeries, which stands to reason, after the pandemic. And InMode reported, they pre-announced early, and then they raised forward guidance, and this thing popped 11% today. So congrats to the longs there. That one needs to settle down. This is Intuitive Surgical, which is in the same group, with their Da Vinci machine. And this one broke out, and it's just trending higher. That's a trend trader's dream. Once again, just, minding its surfing on the 21 and the 10. So Intuitive Surgical looks good. like I said, there's just so many stocks to get to. But I'm going to stop there. I believe. Did I show you SMCI? You know, I talked about foreshadowing. People are saying foreshadow. What is that? Well, it made a new high yesterday, and then it pulled back in. I think the high was like 282 something. And for me, that's just a foreshadow. It's like, yeah, it ran up, but then it pulled back. It's getting too far away from its moving averages. And now I had an inside day today, and eventually it's going to take that 282.90 out, is my belief. But you know, you could do whatever you want. And that's it for today. But in honor of the great Steve Jobs, one more thing. I cannot go without talking about Carvana. And I know a lot of people, including me, I don't like bottom fishing, and I'm not going to buy something here at $3 or $4. It looks like it's going out of business. But this thing, you know, sold off like a lot of the software names and formed a base here. You can see this clearly defined base, then blasted out this week right here. A 21% move, yeah, with the big volume, and then followed it up with a 32% move. So that is not to be ignored. I did ignore it. I didn't buy Carvana, but it's just a different style of buying. And you know, no style's right. It's whatever is right for you, you know. But I have seen a lot of these you know, these stage one bases, and they're very lucrative, and I would not shy away from them. This was not on our watch list, but I did have, you know, stocks like DigitalOcean, which was you know, it's got a little more earnings and a little stable business, but you could see the big sell-off, the stage one base, and it moves higher. Datadog, I mentioned that one earlier. You can see the stage one, you know, big sell-off, big stage one base, and that one looks good to me. Roku is another one. Big sell-off. Now it's in a stage one base, and if you look at the daily, you know, it's just starting to pop out of there. I mean, it's just a different style than buying something like, you know, near a high, like a Supermicro or like NVDA. There's nothing wrong with either style. You know, one's not better than the other. It's just whatever your tolerance is, whatever your personality is. I'm going to get a little more into this on our weekend report here, because there's a lot of styles that are working now. And thank you for watching. Have a great evening. We never give up.